sports and the sparks always shine. Talking sports all day, having a good time with sports profiting. Our future is bright. Beast and friends, the best sports talk around. From the field to the court and the news of the sport.
It was a busy Thursday night football for you. You had Brock Purdy, you had Walker, you had Metcalf. What's your thoughts?
Gino is like a poor man's Brett Favre. Like, he gets you down the field and then he throws a bullet from like 12 yards away. And then he has Kenneth Walker wide open in the end zone, just outside the end zone. And DK wide open a couple of times underneath. You know, it's just, I think Seattle needs to make a QB change. And I think DK and Kenneth Walker are your best players. And I think the common denominator is Gino. And Gino has to go. Too many picks. Too wild. And just not as clutch as Brett Favre.
You know, as you say that, I actually end up throwing a pick with Gino.
Yep, very common.
Proving your point.
And you saw John Lynch on the sideline for San Francisco, just loving his defense.
Oh, you know John Lynch would have had a pick.
Gino made it very easy on that San Fran D. Not to say that San Fran pressure came with ease. Obviously, Nick Bosa was coming off the edge quickly. That Seattle O-line already is garbage. But that's my thoughts.
Everything was looking good for them on that first drive, and then he threw that interception, and he just had a terrible first half.
That's been a common denominator all season, though, is that like he gets down the field and he throws a pick. He's done that so much this season, and I only know that because I watch DK every single week, and therefore I'm forced to watch Gino throw picks.
Well, last week it was DK Metcalf who actually blew it with the fumble late in the game
true.
They drove.
That's true, but I feel like all season Gino's just been throwing picks. Like, especially in one touchdown, one score, two score differences, even if it's a 7-point game, 10-point game, 14-point game, he just can't keep it together. And as they were saying on air, there was no sense of urgency. He was throwing underneath the whole freaking time. He was never going deep, and finally goes deep, like out of the end zone twice. I don't know.
That's because they needed the fantasy PPR points. He was trying to feed everyone.
Well, I don't think he was trying to do that. I just don't think. I could see DK not happy. You could read his face. I'd want to. If I was Seattle, I'd want to put a smile on his face over Gino's and get a new QB under center for sure.
Well, DK did have that long touchdown called back, so it's almost an amazing day for DK.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. There's that, but I don't know. I don't see Seattle. It's like poor game management is what I noticed. Just bad clock management, the whole deal.
Yeah, they're 3-2 heading into today. I mean, the teams they beat were like the Broncos, the Patriots.
Yeah,
so
not that impressive.
Nothing special.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Brock Purdy, on the other hand, he's very overrated. If it wasn't for the talent he had, like the Deebo Samuel touchdown, that was all Deebo. Making a play.
At least he had good game management. You know what I mean?
That's true. He could game manage. Well, should we say that? Because look at what happened last week. He did a terrible job against Arizona and blew that lead.
I'm just talking this week. I'm just saying.
He almost blew this game also.
Picks, 3 TDs.
Yeah,
255.
That third touchdown came because of that late turnover by Gino that set him up with that easy...
Oh, 100%. I'm not saying it was like a long drive or anything, but you still had to find him, and it was a perfect touchdown. It's a good ball, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not saying he's throwing for 330 and the 3 touchdowns is that exciting, but he just gets it done, and I agree. If he didn't have guys like Deebo and Kittle who came back from the injury.
And even Ayuk last week, like Ayuk was being wide open all by himself every single time.
I'm not saying he doesn't have guys around him, and I do think he's overrated, but he gets the job done. Honestly,
this week.
Yeah, I mean, Geno Smith was throwing picks left and right. It just, I don't know. And then luckily they recovered that one fumble that O-line recovered. I forgot who it was. I think it was a tackle. Anyways, now that Seattle's 3-3, I'm not that impressed. And like you said, the wins weren't that impressive. And for Brock, I agree he's overrated, but I think that's all San Fran really needs, a game manager, because their defense is so good and because the supporting cast is so good. If they can get some of these running backs back, of course. And looks like they're pretty deep there as well. So
yeah, we'll see what the deal is with Jordan Mason. Might miss a game, might not.
I thought it was pretty funny when what's his name, Justich, or whatever his name is, and Kittle would jump to the wives. And
yeah,
they had that all planned out. Thought that was pretty funny.
And then DK Metcalf with a 49-yard touchdown. Too bad I couldn't do that for you tonight.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, he got that long one called back, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a funny celebration to jump at the wives, and then they got to jump at them again, like in a 5-minute span.
Yeah, I don't think the second time. I don't think Kittle was there.
No, he jumped in late.
Oh, he jumped in late.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. In other football news, Robert Saleh was fired.
First off, I don't think it's all his fault, but I don't think that was the right coach for that job. And it is a win-now situation. This is not like a project where you got Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Breece Hall has a career ahead of him, but, you know, he even had some injuries last year, so you want to do it now. And I don't think he was the guy to get them to or near the Super Bowl.
I felt the way he handled Tim Boyle last year by benching him in the second half of that game against Atlanta when it wasn't even his fault. This was karma coming to him.
Well, I know how you feel about Tim Boyle, and I don't blame you for feeling that way. However, I just think overall there's no way. I don't think Aaron Rodgers believed in him. If Aaron Rodgers isn't going to believe in him, you know, he has to go.
Yeah, they had that awkward altercation on that Thursday night game when Rodgers threw a touchdown and he came to the sideline and Saleh started like hitting his chest and Rodgers was like, calm down. It's like second quarter.
And then you're thinking to yourself, who's the coach?
Sports Profit AI football season is on fire. 10 plus wins every week of the season, and you can try out the Profit for $10. Email Beast at beastdome.com to learn more. Yankees won on Thursday, increasing the win percentage to over 71. Get the Profit in your pocket today.
However, I just think overall there's no way. I don't think Aaron Rodgers believed in him. If Aaron Rodgers isn't going to believe in him, you know, he has to go.
Yeah, they had that awkward altercation on that Thursday night game when Rodgers threw a touchdown and he came to the sideline and Saleh started like hitting his chest and Rodgers was like, calm down. It's like second quarter.
And then you're thinking to yourself, who's the coach?
Yeah. But I see the Jets rebounding. They really got screwed by Hassan Reddick not playing because they got rid of Huff, who was their best pass rusher, replaced him with a better one in Reddick, but now Reddick's not playing, so they have no pass rush. And that's been their downfall on defense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then CAA today actually dropped Reddick as an agent, or as their client.
Wait, who dropped who?
CAA, they were representing Reddick, and they dropped Reddick.
Why did they drop Reddick?
Probably because like they can't get through to him, and he's losing like $800,000 a game. He's lost over $4 million of his contract by holding out or sitting out.
Is this like CTE related at all?
At this point,
I mean, I'm serious. Like, why is he not responding? Like, that's a lot of money to be losing a week.
Especially for a guy who's, basically giving himself career suicide doing this at the same time.
Yeah, why would CAA is trying to pay him essentially to... That's just, he's paying CAA a cut, excuse me, but, like, it's still, like, CAA is still gonna get him those paychecks, if he appears and shows up, and that's just weird to me. I don't know the full story, but I want to look into that.
Yeah, it's a very bad situation for everyone. Hopefully he just returns and plays football and can make his name relevant again.
Yeah, that's sad. I hope he figures it out.
And then other news, fantasy basketball season's around the corner. I'm going to start by talking about my favorite player, and I want to hear some guys that you like. But my favorite player this year is Bodega Per, Big Cat, Karl-Anthony Towns with the Knicks, playing center for the first time in a few years. Gobert was stealing all the rebounds. Now it's the Cat show. Go-to guy in the offense. You can add on what you feel about Cat.
Well, having a pass-first point guard, in my opinion, suits him well. And I expect a lot of double-doubles with a high block total as well.
Can't forget those threes.
And if he can't win in New York, I'm sorry, that's the one question I have on him. Is he going to be a winner? Is he going to be clutch in the fourth quarter? Is he going to get W's? From fantasy perspective, I think he'll be clutch no matter what. But I'm curious to see what type of effect he has on the rest of the Knicks.
He did make the Western Conference Finals last year.
I agree. I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but sometimes he seems like he quits early. Like he's a little emotional. I don't know. Like he's like Dwight got to the finals. I never found him to be like extremely motivated down, in the final minutes. But that's my 2 cents.
True. But when you're a power forward and like another big man like Gobert is battling while you kind of just like stand and watch, that puts him out of it a little bit. But that won't be the case in New York.
Well, Gobert battling is kind of an oxymoron to begin with.
Let's hear what you're looking forward to any players this season.
Oh, well, I know that maybe I'm overhyping him a bit. I still love the Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller combo. Obviously, they have some injury issues with the ball, and I wonder what they're going to do. I think there's some depth issues, which is the big problem for Charlotte, in my opinion. But overall, I'm very curious to see how Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges play this year. Those are two guys that I'm looking forward to watching.
Are you expecting playoffs from Charlotte this year?
That's the problem. I don't think they have the depth, but if they do, maybe somewhere in that 7th to 10th seed, if they do, somewhere on the back end. I don't see them being somewhere between 4 and 6. Who's their backup point guard this year? I can't even think.
Isn't it your boy, Milicic?
Well, I do like him. But still, he's not the best defensive player. I like him as far as being a pass-first point guard. He's another one of those pass-first point guards. I'm very excited to see Chris Paul in San Antonio with...
That's going to be like 20 assists a game easy.
Exactly. I think that's going to be very fun to watch. I'm really aiming for pass first point guards. Depending on what type of value I can get, I'm in a salary cap league personally, so that's my 2 cents. Where I can get value for some pass first point guards.
Yeah. Well, got a big basketball season coming up. Speaking of that 7-10 seed, the Major League Baseball playoffs, we're seeing a lot of those teams that are like those bubble teams that come in the wild card, and then they keep that momentum going and end up beating like the Phillies, for example, the Mets. The Tigers almost were able to clinch today against the Indians. That'll go to Game 5.
I think the Dodgers and the Yankees, or it's going to be the Mets and the Yankees. I think it's going to be 2 big market teams. That's kind of where my head's at. At least if I'm Major League Baseball, that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, Dodgers, Yankees for sure would be the talk of the town.
I don't think they're good. I don't think they want the Padres to be in it.
Yeah.
Smaller market. I really think it's going to be Dodgers, Yankees, or Mets, Yankees.
And the Padres kind of have like a young attitude towards everything, while the Dodgers are like, so established with Freeman, Ohtani, Mookie. Like those are household names.
I agree with you too in that, look at Tatis. He's been amazing.
Oh man, he's like Barry Bonds prime.
And the Dodgers relievers are garbage lately. Very questionable. And it doesn't look like Dave Roberts wants to overpitch the starters, which I think is smart. And who knows who's really calling the shots over there at the Dodgers. I hear that, it's not always him, but there does sometimes seem to be some sort of micromanagement going on in the Dodgers dugout. I think sometimes they're a little too on the ball with the pitch counts, and I get it. But I know the Dodgers are already thin on starters. But these relievers aren't getting the job done. I think you need starters to get an extra inning in where they can.
Well, Dave Roberts has always been famous for overthinking things in the playoffs and choking with terrible decisions year after year.
I do think it's time for a management change if they can't win it this year. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if it's an early exit against like San Diego, for instance.
Yeah, what a stacked roster. Like anyone can manage that team to this point of the season.
I will say it does seem they're a little thin on pitching, but they're not that thin. They should be able to get the job done. And the relievers are a little bit suspect, but hopefully they can hold it together.
They got big name starters though. Guys that if you pep talk them correctly, they'll have
Beast and friends in the spots on we shine, talking sports all day, having a good time with sports profiting. Our future is bright. Beast and friends, the best sports talk around. From the field to the court and the news of the sport, we cover it all. We're your best resort. Laughter and stats, predictions on point. Beast and friends always leading the joy. Game time magic, laughter in the air. Never miss a moment. Joined by